Hi, my name is Chase Piotrowski, and I'm an M&A associate here at Black Diamond Capital Advisory Firm. And today we'd like to take some time to talk about some things to consider before making an offer to acquire a business. Acquiring a business can be a significant decision for current business owners or prospective business owners, and there are a lot of things to consider when making an offer. And we're going to go over some of the top things today. So some of the top 5 things are valuation. First, you want to know how much you're going to need to pay for a business. So it's important to understand the value of the business you're acquiring. The value can be constructed using an asset, income, or market approach, and this helps you understand the value of both tangible and intangible assets, along with the earnings capacity of the business and what the market conditions are currently valuing the business at that time. Next is financing. Once you determined how much a business is worth, you're going to want to know how you're going to pay for the business. We often see a mix of both cash and debt depending on the buyer's capabilities. You can go to a bank and get a traditional loan or even SBA loans to help with the financing process. Next is the due diligence phase. It's important to review not only financial information, but also other things such as customer contracts, supplier contracts, the culture of the company, and any team members that will be staying on throughout the acquisition process. You want to ensure that you're not only buying a financially sound business, but also one that has the right systems and operations in place, and this can be done throughout the due diligence process. Next, you want to understand how you're going to structure the deal. There are probably a million different ways to structure a deal, whether it's all cash, seller financing, a mix of seller financing, bank financing, and cash. There's a lot of different ways to do it, so it's good to understand what the different options are and how you can best utilize those options to acquire the business. And finally is the post-acquisition integration. It's important to understand how the business you're acquiring is going to fit into your current business or your current business operations, both culturally, systematically, and operationally. If these are all in alignment, this can really create synergies for this new business venture that you're embarking on. Now that we understand some of the things to consider, we can look at the different types of deal structures. There are 5 common types of deal structures, including the asset sale, stock sale, merger, leveraged buyout, and management buyout. First, the asset sale allows the buyer to select specific assets and liabilities of the business to purchase. We often see this because a lot of small business owners might have personal items in the business, such as vehicles that they want to hold on to after a transaction. So an asset sale allows the current buyer to buy all the business assets and liabilities, but maybe allow the sellers to retain their personal vehicles post-transaction. Next is a stock sale. This is a acquisition for all of the assets and liabilities in the business. So for example, if a business owner owns 100%, say 100 membership units of the business, the buyer will buy those membership units and get the business as is, including all assets and liabilities. So there could be some risk, but this process is typically easier than an asset sale because you don't have to go through the process of determining which assets and liabilities will stay with the business. Next is a merger. This is where one business buys a second business to create a new entity. This can be great when trying to create synergies between the two businesses. It can allow this new entity to be bigger and better than the two individuals on their own. We often see this when businesses are in similar industries and want to expand both operations and target market, and can be a great option for someone looking to do that. Next is a management buyout. This is when the current management in place, such as the CEO, CFO, COO, are interested in taking over ownership of the business. We often see this when that management team has been in place for a long time and the company has had great success under them, and the current owner wants to transition the business to them in order to maintain a seamless transition. Um, the management team can often create a new entity to buy the current business from the current owner, but there are also multiple ways to do it, such as ESOPs and other ways. And finally is a leveraged buyout. This is where a buyer uses a significant portion of debt to finance the transaction. Typically it can be a little riskier, but allow buyers to purchase businesses that they might without having to put in a ton of capital at the beginning, and can be a really good option for someone who's maybe a little more risk tolerant and entrepreneurial in that spirit. And there are a couple things to consider when structuring the deal or considering what structure type you want to use. First is that risk tolerance. Like I said, if you're someone who's willing to take on debt and is a little more risk tolerant, you can use a leveraged buyout. But let's say you're someone who's a little more risk adverse, you're just trying to expand your business by acquiring some more customers and maybe some additional team members. You might want to consider an asset sale, as that's a little less risky. And that will also play into your financing goals as well. If you're willing to use more debt, be a little more risky, take a little more chance, you might be someone who takes out a loan rather than just spending cash to buy a business. Third is your business goals. If you're someone who's looking to expand their business and make it bigger and better than it ever has been, a merger might be the right option for you, because you can buy this new business, create a new entity that's even bigger and better than what you could have created on your own, and that can be a great option for you. Fourth, of course, with all of these, there are many different tax implications, so it's important to work closely with your CPA to determine what the different options might mean from a tax perspective, both as a buyer and seller. There's a lot of different ways to structure deals, and they all have different tax implications, so it's important to work closely with your CPA on those different options. And finally are any legal or regulatory considerations. Certain industries require you to have certain certifications or documents in order to own a business. So it's important to work closely with your lawyer in that situation to make sure you're covered and have all the certifications before acquiring that business. So in conclusion, buying a business and considering what deal structure to use can be very complex. So it's important to seek advice from professionals that have experience. If you have any questions throughout your business acquisition process, feel free to reach out to one of our M&A professionals here at Black Diamond, and we'll be happy to help you throughout the process. Thank you for taking the time to watch today, and have a good rest of your day.